Alright guys, so this class, this is the same class that I had last week. It's basically, it's a trend strategy as far as to help. It's not a strategy to get in and out of trades. It's more a strategy that I still to this day use on my scalps or in my options trades to get a better sense of direction. I want to make it clear that this isn't a strategy in itself that would make you money as far as just following just that, and that's all you would need. What I am going to show you guys, there is people on YouTube and out there that do use some of these indicators, or one of them a lot, to get into trades. It's an actual strategy, but I don't use it for that. I use it so whenever I get in a trade and I'm thinking a certain direction, I'll look at this and then I'll be like, okay, I'm thinking, because nothing's 100%, I'm thinking this will keep going this way, right? I loaded up SPY here just so you guys, it's easier to show you on Thinkorswim than it is on Trade-of-8because I don't have these indicators on Trade-of-8. So let's get this going. As you guys can tell, I have TTM squeeze and MACD down here, okay? MACD is very popular. A lot of people use it for a direction as far as I believe it's a volume based indicator letting you know the strength of the side. TTM squeeze is not so popular. I've been seeing it a lot lately. To be honest with you, 90% of the people that use it, if you see these little red dots right here, that means that you're in a squeeze, okay? And once the squeeze ends, it fires, right? There is people out there that use that for a strategy. I don't. That's more for swing trading, I think. But I don't use these red dots at all. I'm going to show you what I developed on my own and what I use, kind of a trend and direction. This that I'm going to show you, I use a lot for my options plays, because for scalps, it helps just to know that you're going the right direction that you're thinking. But remember, I do some weird scalps when it's in a bearish market and a bearish run, and I'll be playing calls, right? So this will help a lot of you, just if you're like, how do they know what way it's going or whatever. Again, none of this is 100%. Indicators are lagging. Whatever you see down here is going with the current candle or the previous candle. It's not in the moment, right? It's backed up data. But this helps me more often than not. This that I'm going to show you in my options plays, I used to do a lot of options in another group. And I used to do a lot of call outs. And I would always hit at least 20 to 50%ers. There's people in here that know me from there. And I would do a bunch of 100%ers. And this is what I would use to hold through some nasty pullbacks, okay? It's going to seem pretty simple, but I guarantee you it's something to add to your arsenal. Again, it's not a trend where like, okay, this is where we're getting in and out. But this will help you see direction. Does it work every single time? No, but it helps a lot, okay? So as you can tell, I got TTM squeeze and MACD on the 5-minute time frame, right? This that I'm going to show you, again, helps for determining whether you think you're going in the right direction. It helps a lot for reversals, for bounces and rejections, okay? I'm going to give you various examples of different days. Today wasn't the greatest day to use this tool, but it did help a couple of times. Now, as you can tell, TTM squeeze has baby blue lines, dark blue lines, dark red lines, and yellow. Okay, what that means is the baby blue means there's strong bullish sentiment. Dark blue means it's weakening, right? Dark red means there's strong bearish sentiment. Yellow means it's weakening, starting to curl up. Same thing with MACD, except different colors. Bright red means strong bearish sentiment. Lighter red, or I guess it would be the darker, right? The not as bright red means it's weakening. Same thing on the other side. Bright green, dark green. Bright green means it's strong bullish sentiment, and so on. And then when you guys hear me say in the chat a MACD crossover, it's when this blue line crosses this white line, right? You go off the blue line. I know it's confusing. You think, okay, well, they're both crossing. You base the crossover based on the blue line, okay? Now, I'm going to zoom in here because this only works with, you can't be too zoomed out because you can't really see what's going on. Let me shorten these up. There we go. All right, so as you can tell, as the day goes on, you guys know that I start marking levels, right? Okay, boom, 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 we hit a high. I'm not one to mark like the peaks or whatever. I mark where I see a lot of action, right? So like right here, I have a top and I see that this curls up here. I'll start marking this top, right? Based on this, I think that's the actual top. We keep going on in the day, blah, blah. Okay, I see a bottom here, okay? But for right now, we'll do the average. I'll mark where the not the lowest peak, but where I see kind of the average, right? I would do the green peak here. Okay, we pull back, we get a pullback, boom, I see this here. Another pullback for a bounce. Now, if you notice down here, this goes in waves, right? For the most part. You do have some weird times where it goes red, yellow, like it fluctuates within one sentiment. But the ones that you want to pay attention most of the part are the big ones that do big waves like this. Now, MACD is way more sensitive. What I mean by that is it reacts faster to the current candle. TTM squeeze is my stronger trend indicator because for it to switch colors, it takes a lot. Okay, either a big movement candle or whatever, right? So what I like to do is, okay, let's say we're ranging here, and I'm like, okay, I see a range here, right? Between these two, let me mark it with a square. Right, I'm seeing a range here. We came here, bounce, bounce, holding here. I'm wanting to play the breakout. Now, a lot of people don't recommend breakout trading. I do well with breakout trading. I usually do breakout trading with other confirmations. I'm not just going to play the break a higher day or the break a lower day, right? So, right here, as you can tell, MACD on this big green candle went from bearish to weak bearish sentiment to bullish, right? On this green candle. What I'm looking for is a continuation or reversal on both of these indicators. So I want, most of the time, like today, like I said, today wasn't the greatest day, but I still was able to read this breakdown right here. And I'll show you how. So we topped off here, right? And at this point, I'm thinking, okay, I want to play this last bounce rejection or this rejection or this bounce. One of those two is going to break, and I want to play that break because usually when you're raging like that for 2 hours, you're going to have a decent move, right? If you want to be extra careful, I could have even said, okay, I'm going to wait till this bottom level breaks, right? Now check this out. MACD goes from strong bearish to light bearish, and then it goes with the full bullish sentiment, right? What I'm doing here, now that I'm seeing my range, by this point, we have a bottom and we have a high, right? I'm waiting for MACD first to show me the first candle of weakness. I prefer reversals with this strategy, right? Not breakthroughs, because breakthroughs, this would just keep going dark, bright green. So in this candle right here, right, it didn't break, but the candle closed showing weak sentiment. Cool. I'm like, okay, there's a little shift. There was 4 candles that were completely bullish, and then this last one started showing weakness, right? At the same time, TTM squeeze was showing weakness from its bearish sentiment, and then on one candle, boom, it goes strong bearish. So these two coincided, right? It's showing downside and this is showing downside, right? But I'm not just going to trade that. I want to set up some kind of level or structure to break to play this with a continuation. I wait for the next candle. This one was confusing. Hey, it flipped back the opposite way, correct? But the candle didn't break anything. Cool, I'm still watching, right? I look at the next candle. Okay, weakened again. Now, these are very rare on MACD where it goes from one sentiment to another, from weak to strong to weak. You'll usually see like at least 2 candles like here, right? So this leads me to believe in my analysis that this candle was just a reversal, like a kind of like an order block, right? Still, nothing has broken. I see it approaching, the bottom of my rectangle, right? Now, when it goes flat like this, it's saying that it's continuing. It's going to shift to the other color. So it's going from bullish to light bullish to strong bearish sentiment, right? So guess what I do? I set my order at the bottom of my thing, right? I'm looking down here. So 3 candles in a row were showing like it was curling down. On the 4th one that actually breaks, I have my order there, and look what happens. They go completely bearish. So this little trend curve, like I said, this is not the greatest day. I'll show you guys better days where theirs works better. It was able to help me to determine, okay, we're in here, but it's looking like it's curling down. On top of that, right, you had a MACD crossover on the candle before it broke. So this candle here, I had very strong confidence on this break. One indicator was showing that it went from strong bullish to strong bearish. The other one was bearish the whole time, but it went weak to strong, and we had a MACD crossover on the previous candle before we broke. Sometimes it happens on the ones that break, and I don't like those so much. This was an A+ setup for a break, right? And I would just be following the trend. Now, realistically, I'm not going to sugarcoat this and be like, oh, I would have held all the way down. You guys know me. I take profits at the next target. I would have taken it here, right? Because that was the low of day, and that was about $1, right? On option style plays though, as I taught you some of you before, what I do so with me with options, it's 20% or nothing to me, right? I'm willing to lose 15% on options, sometimes 20% depending how I like it. But basically, if I don't get at least 20% of an options trade, I'm willing to go break even. So what I do is I'll let the play run until I see one reversal candle, right? Which would be this green one. And then I'll mark the top of it and I'll be like, okay, that's my stop loss. And I'll let it run. If that gets broken, guess what? I already made this dollar here, right? Or on futures, that would have been 10 points, roughly 8 to 10 points, right? And then I would have marked the top. And this is really how I play. I'm not trying to make, oh, he's saying it in retrospect. You guys see how I trade? That's on options. That's how I take profit. I would have marked the top of the green candle thinking that's just a pullback. If the next candle goes green, guess what? I already secured $1, right? I put my stop loss here, and then I wait for the next pullback, right? Which probably would have been maybe around here. I mark the top. It never breaks. I come down here. I mark the next pullback down here. So the truth is, on my option style play, I would have gone stopped out here. I wouldn't have caught the absolute bottom, but I would have been down here because I would have marked the green of the pullback. And that's how I take profit, okay? Now, let me give you some better examples of when this trend works. Or some more examples. Okay, so right here, same thing. I'll start, you guys know me. I'll start marking, okay, low a day. On this one, I'll mark here. Boom, boom, the play run. I'll start marking where I see a lot of, action. Okay, right here. Let's look right here, right? This one's one of the ones where you got to keep an eye on, right? And this will just help you with direction. So it was showing strong bullish sentiment to the top side, which it was. Right when I established a top, right, it did go bearish for 2 candles. The next candle, so this turns green the moment that you cross the previous red candle. So it would have gone red, and then the moment it gets here, it would have turned bright green. At that point, I'm looking for a breakout trade. I mark my entry here for a buy, right? And now I'm waiting for confirmation. Guess what? On the next, on that candle, we flip to green. Now, when it breaks, obviously you have to have stop losses with these, right? Realistically, I would have had my stop loss maybe down here, right? And then from there is just keep reading this trend. Obviously, they're not set in stone till the candle closes, but I'm getting confidence in holding this. At some point, when you start topping off, then you start setting your, okay, this is rounding off. The first one, usually the weekend, would be MACD, and at that point, you probably secure profit somewhere down here, right? Again, I prefer the reversals. That was a breakout example. Let's look at a reversal, right? So now we established a new high a day, right? This one's pretty juicy here. Let me remove this. Okay, so we're up here. We go 3 candles completely bullish, right? On this candle, we're thinking, okay, this could be a pullback for the next leg up. It's what a lot of us would have been thinking. Next candle, same high. Here's where I'm starting to get wary. I'm like, okay, it's been 15 minutes holding up here, right? I come down here and look at MACD. Okay, this candle showed weakness, but this one's still bullish as hell. So what I do, and some of you have seen me play these, I'll mark the low of whatever little flag it is we're in, right here, right? Remember, the moment this candle doesn't turn bearish till it crosses the previous body of the previous one. So around right here, it would have turned bearish completely both. The moment I see that, I'm happy with my trade, and I'll set my buy, I'll set my stop loss, which probably would have been the bodies of these, and it never would have hit. And from there, you just keep reading the candles. Look at this, bearish, more bearish, more bearish. You get a MACD crossover on the next candle to confirm to keep holding, right? You would have had to held through this pullback, but remember, I play the pullback, so I probably would have secured profit You guys know me. I probably would have secured profit at VWAP, or to be real, I would have waited for the pullback and realistically taken profit here. So that was what? 368.51. That was another dollar play, right? Just using this and in key levels. It's that simple, right? That's how I used to play my options play. Key levels first. I would find, okay, some kind of range. There's a ton of things you could have added here to add to your sentiment. Look. This was an A plus put call right here, right? We have an uptrend here holding. We have a flag that built. You got to be quick on these though, right? And then MACD for 2 candles show weakness, and then it flashed on TTM squeeze, which is the stronger one, flash weakness in its bullish sentiment from half an hour. Boom, I get in, put a stop loss. Some of you probably would have held through this, but me, I take profit at key levels or points, VWAP or the next level. Realistically here, I don't see any level in between here. So I probably would have taken profit right at VWAP. Or like I told you guys, I played the pullback, would have marked it. Oops. Where did I go? Right here. I would have marked it right here. The first pullback. So this goes green, then it goes red. And then the moment it goes green, it'll stop me out here for $1. That's another 8 to 10 points on futures. Right? It's that simple with this strategy. It works better for options because I'm able to hold longer. So like right here on this breakdown, in futures, I would have taken profit at the first point, right? I like to secure my profit. But in options, look at this. It never gave me a signal of weakness to the top side till this candle down here, right? So in options, and I'm being dead honest with you. I mean, if I'm lying to you guys, I'm lying to myself. Right here, the moment this turn shows weakness and it's bearish sentiment all this time, I probably would have started looking, not that I would have taken profit immediately. This is where I would have marked I would have been like, okay, the next pullback. So I'll mark the peak of the last pullback. And if it gets past that, I'll take profit. And sometimes it'll touch it and keep going. It'll turn back bright red because remember, indicators are lagging. But at least I had an indicator that this was the first candle where it showed sentiment. Realistically, on my options trades, I would have gotten stopped out here at roughly 60, let's call it 67. So I just turned that into a $2.50 play on SPY. You guys know that's at least a 30-40 banger on options. Here, I'll give you guys one more example and then we'll call it there. And if you guys have questions, I'll take some questions after the class. So let's zoom in. Okay. And sometimes I'll mark. So remember, I always mark pre-market high, right here, right? Let's zoom. Let's a little too. That's better. All right, cool. So I see a pre-market high. I see it topping off around here. Look at this. I look here. It's had bullish sentiment for an hour. This is how sometimes I've had people like, bro, how'd you know that it was gonna go down at the open? I use simple stuff like this, right? And it seems to work the best on the 5-minute, right? I see a top. I see it kind of just visually look at it. It's rounding off. It showed power, weak, really weak with a top wick. Market opens, right? So around here, sometimes that's when like college will be like, well, bro, you just got into that like right at market open. It's worth a shot to me because I'll buy right. So if this candle were to have wick green, I'll wait to the moment that it turns red and do a market buy with an easy high of day stop loss. This stop loss right here would have been like 5%. You wouldn't have lost that much. It's 20 cents, right? And then from here, look at this. So even on the candle before market open, I had so I was already thinking, hey, it's curling, but I have no signal down here that's showing me weakness in its bullish sentiment. Okay, this candle closes right before market open and it closes with weakness. Guess what? The next candle's weak and the next candle opens up weak. I buy market and boom. Look at this. Halfway through, you get a MACD crossover to add to your sentiment to keep holding. Boom, 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 boom. Your first idea to get out would have been here, but like I told you, if you mark, I always like marking the pullbacks, right? So I would have marked here, and then you mark here on the first pullback, the first green candle, and then realistically you would have secured profit here. That is another $2.50 play. Does that make sense? So that's not a complete strategy. That is just one of the ways that I'm able to look at trend. MACD by itself is trash. TTM squeeze by itself is trash, right? Together, I found a way to read them as a team, right? First, I'll look at MACD to show me weakness, and then I'll wait for TTM squeeze to confirm it. And a lot of the times, again, this is not an end-all be-all, but for those tops or bottoms where we're able to call the high of the day or the low of the day, it's because of this. Sometimes it is just a nice pullback, right? But you'll get something out of it, especially in futures. And also, sometimes if you're just trying to see direction, again, in the 5 minute, it's very finicky, right? Here, let me zoom out. So like right here, it was going bullish, bullish, bullish. Right here, it went from bearish to bullish. So that looks strong bullish. And check this out. First weakness here. Then the next one. Once you get two confirmed, I'm thinking the opposite way, right? And look what happens. You could have put an entry here once the second one closes. And you could have ridden this all the way to the bottom. If you're like that. Would I have waited all that? No, I probably would have gotten stopped out right here. Right? But that is still 67, a $2 move. You guys know on fucking options that is at least 30%, at least minimum, right? So that's pretty much it. If you guys have any questions, I mean, this has made me a lot of money, just this, right? When sometimes people ask me, what do you think, up or down? I'll look at this. Don't get me wrong, there's times where it goes flat and I can't tell nothing. Like right here. It's showing like it's supposed to be bullish, right? But it's a very small bullish move and then goes bearish, right? You gotta know when to read this. That's why I don't use this by itself. I use it in conjunction with key levels. If I see a structure, a flag, a bottom of the day, right? A low of day, right here, right? Oh, that's actually a perfect example. That'll be the last one, right? Bottom of the day, 1 touch, 2 touch, 3 touch, heading for its 4th. Check it out. It was going bullish, 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 bullish. Guess what? MACD, the 2 candles before, MACD was showing me weakness on its bullish sentiment. I set my order of low a day with a tight stop loss maybe around here. And look, paid off. Just by reading this. Nothing else. Just a low of day with sentiment trend. That's it. That's how I made 87 grand last year on options. Using these two together with obviously trend of the day. I prefer to play puts. If we're looking like we went down, then down, I prefer to play puts. This would have been an A+ setup. 1 touch, 2 touch, 3 touch. All right. But all of these looked bullish. Look at this. It was going bearish and then went bullish starting here. Even down here, it went bullish, 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 curve up. So right here's where I would have started looking. And I'm like, okay, this started showing weakness in its bullish sentiment. 2 candles before the break. On the 3rd one, everything's still showing strong bearish. Boom. I set my buy with a tight stop loss. Right? Stop loss never hit. I probably would have done stop loss, the bodies right here. You guys know how I play. I play some weird levels, right? That would have been my stop loss. Worst case stop loss right there looks like it would have been like a 10 or 15% stop loss. But it would have ended up hitting on the first pullback another 10 or 20% easy on that. Actually, that looks like more. 67, 68, about $1. So about 15-20%. So anyways, that's all that I use. If you guys have any questions, I hope that helped out. Again, that helped me a lot. Maybe if you guys have questions, I'm not the best one to explain things like that. I'm more of a visual trader. But, I mean, use that. Load it up. It helps you read the trend pretty good most of the time. Maybe until 10 a.m. when it starts showing weakness. But if you guys have any questions, put them in the chat. I'm gonna stop the recording real quick.